Alright, y'all, who's ready to play the best game of 1995? That's right. Romancing. SaGa. You're right, I can't sprint. Actually, Garfield, baby! Really quick, before I start. Rin, I don't deserve you in the chat because I'm a failure and I missed your stream tonight. I had a pretty major life, well, I don't want to be selfish. It really didn't impact me anything besides emotionally. No, really, like, I don't just say it's okay because, like, I'm like someone who takes the lame stuff like honor really seriously, and I said I was gonna be there and I was not. And see, when I give someone my word, that's my ninja way. Oh my gosh, I guess it would help if I actually put the video game on my monitor, right? So, I actually was not going to stream tonight. I'm a little emotional right now, and I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I've been drinking, which I don't drink anymore to cope with my emotions at all. I used to drink a lot more than I do now. I barely drink once a week, but I cracked open... Oh my god, I forgot the last time we played this game. Well, I mean, we're all in this together, you know what I'm saying, Rin? We're all... Griff, if you're not following Rin the Cat Tato already, please follow, because they're awesome. Like, any small streamer I meet with, like, a positive attitude is awesome. When I'm not streaming, I am lurking, like, all the time. I am always up to meet new people on Twitch, especially when I'm searching them by the game, because video games are a way, I'm weird socially. Video games are a way that I can talk to people and engage with them in conversation. And I have just met some nasty streamers on Twitch, so shout outs to all of you for being just welcoming individuals. Seriously, it is not hard to be a good person. So if you can be a good person, you're the best. It's that simple. But actually, I actually never realized that, thank you, Griff. That means a lot to me because, well, heck, anyone who shows support to the good old CSJ RPG, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure they are getting support their way, Like, for example, I was gonna pay Rin the Cat Tato's sub back on stream tonight, but I gotta wait till the next time they stream. And you know what? I'm gonna wait till Timodicus' stream is over because... Oh, are you not affiliate? Alright. When is the next time you're... Now, was the stream's average 3, or what is your channel average 3? Because they want channel average. It took me a good 4 or 5 streams, averaging 5 or 6 viewers, to make that 3. By the way, I don't know if you see me play this game, Rin. This is Romancing SaGa 3. This is the greatest RPG of 1995, in my opinion. Keep in mind, every minute you stream on Twitch where you don't have 3 viewers, it hurts the, check your channel analytics in your stream manager. That's gonna tell you your exact number, but every second you don't have 3, it detracts from that, so you wanna just be mindful of that. I got enough people on speed dial to where the next time... Griff, I wasn't gonna, I'm gonna wait until, because I actually want Tomoticus to be in the chat too, because I got something I just need to get off my chest. Really, because like, I was straight up just gonna ghost my channel tonight. I just wasn't gonna play the video game. I'm feeling a lot of emotions, and ooh, those are different enemies. Good stuff, Rin. Speaking from the perspective of someone who streamed for 1 to 2 average viewers for a good 3 or 4 months, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you. When you look at the requirements for affiliate and you see, I forget the amount of hours streamed, but like the 50 followers and 3 average viewers, you're like, wow. 5.2, yeah. Wait until tomorrow. It's gonna take them about 24 hours to get an email to you. But make sure for sure you screenshot that email and the notification on your Twitch, because me personally, it took me like 4 or 5 months to get to. It took me a good 4 or 5 months to get to the affiliate. So, like, it was special to me. Those screenshots shall exist forever. But yeah. And if for some reason, Rin, let me know if you don't get the affiliate for some reason, because sometimes oh wow, that was a lot of damage. 1,000. Oh my god, the HP cap in this game is, unless we're just not meant to be able to fight these yet, which is a very SaGa thing to not, just have encounters you're not ready for. If you make affiliate in a week, I mean, that's all, like, that's a feat. The only thing I think is better than making affiliate in 1 week is those people who happen to make affiliate in or make partner in a day, like, famous people. Oh, nice. I didn't know we could pick up spells. Wonder Spangle. That's cool. Yeah, so we want to leave Archfiend Palace for now, because the last time I streamed this game, I kind of came here, it was like half of a meme. It was like one half of a meme. I haven't seen Logan though in the evening. There is absolutely no shame in that. However, be aware, because I also am a very active user of Reddit, if you catch my drift. In that same regard that you just said, I recently learned that's against Twitch's terms and service. So I have stopped cold turkey. So just be aware of that, because I've been a Twitch streamer for, well, I'm not a Twitch streamer. I'm actually a casual, but yes, it is. I just found that out the other day, which is so silly to me, especially because, like, me personally, when I follow someone on Twitch, I know, you know what? I mean, look at mine. I'm very guilty, but at the same time, though, like, well, okay, so I use it because, I don't just click and then forget. I check your channel out. When I follow someone, I actually check out their channel, and if you play, okay, and Tomoticus already knows this, but if you're playing a game I like a role-playing game or a single-player game, I'm gonna join your chat when you're live, and I'm gonna bug you. It's just a fact. Same thing with, like, if I feel like a liar because I missed Rin's stream today, but if you Seriously, if you scratch my back, I will scratch yours. If you come into my stream, you better bet you're gonna get this annoying canto sprinto in your chat. It's just a fact of life. Tomoticus watched me, I watched Tomoticus, boom, we're boys. It's that simple. And life is that simple, but I wish more people saw it that way, because modern humanity overcomplicates things. Gosh, when he finishes... See, he didn't say he's gonna be here. I know he is, because that's my boy. But, what are these? We broke formation anyway, so we're gonna flee from the battle. Let's Mega Hawk. Rin, do you Garfield, you gotta get a computer first. You know what? You literally have me for 11 now. You got me for like 6 hours a day for the next 4 days, or 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got me for 6 hours each for the next 3 days. Like, I'm a resource. Use me. I know you said you're on a budget. I will help you find a computer to do what you want to do with Twitch with. Thank you for following Garfield back, by the way, Rin. He's a pretty cool guy. He makes music. So we're just nerds. We play video games, but Garfield's actually creative. I haven't told him yet, but at some point, I haven't gotten to the point yet where I want to put music on my Be Right Back at starting screens, but I'm gonna give this guy some money to make me some beats for my in-betweens. He just needs to get it going. Excuse me, dingus. You're the dingus. But Rin, I know you exclusively play on PC, but every remaster of the SaGa series is also on PC, so there's no excuse. Have you ever played a SaGa game? Or if you have not, are you into turn-based RPGs at all? Yeah, offing my guys with one... Oh my gosh. Prepare to be indoctrinated with unnecessary information. So... If I had a nickel for every time someone has seen me play this game, or seen me talk about this game, and they look it up and they say, wow, that looks just like Final Fantasy, I would never have to work another day in my life. Because the fact is, yes, it looks just like Final Fantasy VI, to be specific, because this game is also by Square Enix. The SaGa series is a... We are like, we should be fine, but we're getting kind of withered here. So, the SaGa series is a very obscure RPG franchise created by Akitoshi Kawazu. Akitoshi Kawazu is best known prior to this for creating Final Fantasy II, which is the black sheep of the series. Is she still gonna watch if there's meat here, Griff? Hi, Lizzie Baber, nice to meet you! Let's get the heck out of here. So, basically, this is an RPG from, at the time, Squaresoft. It was released in 1995. It was never released in the West. However, since then, it has had a full English remaster released for all consoles, including PC. Rin the Cat Tato, I'm looking at you. And what makes this game a lot different from Final Fantasy is it doesn't have a traditional leveling mechanic where characters gain levels and experience after battle. You gain stats randomly, and, well, you know, if I were to compare this to anything, I would say SaGa is the closest thing Square Enix has to Shin Megami Tensei in terms of difficulty, because and I'll just say this, every Final Fantasy game, if you are familiar with the genre, every Final Fantasy game is absurdly easy. I mean, Final Fantasy is kid shoes. Every SaGa game is hard. I mean, and if I'm making this look easy, trust me when I say it is not. Oh, this fight's easy, but these are very difficult games. These are not for the faint of heart. Speaking of faint, let's go ahead and use faint on this mad ogre, or just it's a regular ogre. But it's very niche in the West. I might be like one of 2 or 3 people in the English-speaking world playing this. These are much more popular in Asia than they are in the States. I think anyone who considers themselves hardcore into the role-playing game genre and enjoys turn-based games from this era needs to play a Romancing SaGa game, or any SaGa game. There's several from this era, at least once, because it is the most humbling experience on the planet. Personally, this is one of my favorite franchises, so I've played quite a bit of them, but if you are ever just seeking a challenge, play one of these games. Even if you're seeking the challenge, use a guide. Even with a guide, it is not as easy as it might seem. Lizzie Baber, I am assuming that you are... Lizzie Baber, you can change the future! Thank you for Garfield Fluff gifting you a subscription. Thank you so much for gifting me a subscription. You know you do not have to do that. You know, whether I get 10 subs to stream or 0 subs to stream, I'm gonna do this regardless. But, you know, from the deepest parts of my role-playing heart, I deeply appreciate it. So thank you. ASMR. Anyway. Yeah, so last time we tried to fight Alices. So last time we tried to fight Alices, and we got absolutely steamrolled. We lasted 2 turns. So I want to do something a little different this time around. We have 5 party members, which means I have space to recruit 1 more person. So let's, you know, I really didn't plan anything for Romancing SaGa tonight, only because the last time I played the game, I was at a roadblock. I don't necessarily have enough time tonight to stream Live Alive, so this is just kind of my go-to. However, that being said, I figured let's try a pretty difficult side quest on stream tonight, because worst case scenario, I die a lot, it's really funny, or I breeze through it and it's epic. Either way, everyone wins, right? By the way, oh, we sparked a move on Monica, nice. By the way, wow, that was a lot of damage. Sorry, I'm not just trying to sound like a hype streamer. That's a lot more damage than we're used to doing, and when Monica joined our party, she was definitely the weakest person in the party. That is a very welcome change. I wasn't kidding though. When Timodicus hops over here, because I know he will. When Timodicus hops over, I do have something important that I'd like to mention, not as Can't Sprint JRPG, the channel on Twitch, but as Sprint the person. It's a life experience I had today that I think it should be at least in the back of everyone's mind at the bare minimum. So this guy's name is Count Leonid, and Count Leonid is a vampire. Obviously. I mean, I say obviously. I think it's pretty obvious. But my point being, in true SaGa fashion, anyone who's not a generic avatar, we can recruit them. And we're going to. Let's try that Southern Cross move again. I really want to see if that's like really just how much damage that does. Wow. Maybe we try Alice's again tonight, because I didn't have that in my goodie bag when we tried him last time. Yeah. As far as Griff, Timo is he's streaming right now. Usually the end of his stream overlaps with the beginning of my stream. Yeah. The end of his stream usually overlaps with the beginning of mine. I hate the ghosts. I really hate fighting the ghosts because they don't take a lot of damage. But wait a second. Did that miss everybody? Oh, that's whack. Wow, that's... I know I keep making that stupid wow sound, but I don't think you understand. Like, Monica uses a rapier. She's like the weakest person on our party. The bard uses martial arts, and he's stronger than Monica. But... yeah. I meant to tell you when I saw you today, Garfield, do you remember when my audio was super duper cracky? Like crackly? I said cracky, crackly. It's down here. Uh-oh, we're going to Count Leonid's basement. What do vampires keep in their basement? Well, okay. So I meant to tell you today, but you know, of course we got busy, because why wouldn't we? I found out why my audio was so bad, and I'm absolutely mortified at why it happened, because the fix was so simple, but I was overthinking it because I didn't change anything. Windows did an update. Windows did a nice little update. The master volume on both my microphone and my capture card, each one was at 100%. They are not. And actually, I'll share this. I'll share this with everybody because why not? It's free. The Master Vault. Oh, we Sport Giants! That is one of the best spear. I'm sorry. That is one of the best spear moves in the game. We are so early in this game. I cannot believe we just sparked Giant Swing. Wow. We're saving. Oh my God, we're saving. Just to clarify, your chance of sparking Giant Swing is less than 0.5%. Sorry. Ooh, that was sick. Okay. Let me relax. Okay, so my master volume on both my mic and my capture card was 100. That is absolutely not correct because, of course, they're going to sound awful, crack, and they're going to peak. Personally, I use 78 on my microphone and 82 on my capture card, which usually would make sense to have your microphone louder than your capture card because you want people to hear you talk, but instead, you know what, Rin, I believe that. I firmly believe that because when I was streaming Romancing Saga 2, the game had a tendency to act based on how my day went. So I believe, you know, I know that was like a light joke, but I believe that, unironically. I keep my microphone master volume in Windows sound control panel on 78, and I keep my capture card on 82. However, I split the differential in OBS Studio by having my decibel. Wow, that's an insta-kill move. That's nice for them. I keep my capture card on -4, and I keep... It's right here. I keep my capture card on -2, and I keep my Yeti Nano on +4 in OBS. Why did I share that? Yeah, it was peaking fierce, but Windows did an update, and my master volume on both audio sources changed. I have never, in all my years of life, had a Windows update change my settings, of all things. Like not just like, you know, optional settings, but literally change volumes. That's beyond strange for a Windows operating system. Mac does that. That's a very common Mac thing. But oh, you suck. Healing. Actually no, we're pretty tough, so it doesn't matter. Give me 2 seconds. Well, it's not actually gonna be 2 seconds. It's actually gonna be like 90 seconds. I gotta tinkle really quick. I'll be right back, y'all. I have that fear as well, but you know what? Deep in my heart, I know the real ones are going to be here. I pee between 4 and 5 times a day, one of the many wonders and joys of being a pre-diabetic. I know the real ones are going to be here, so I was afraid of that at first, Rin the Catato, but I have slowly gotten over that. Also, you should go to your settings in OBS Studio and run a bandwidth test. Go live, listen to your audio, and tinker with your decibels in OBS versus your master volume in sound control panel, whatever operating system you use, because it took a lot of tinkering for me to find like my ideal settings. Also, Lizzie Baber, aka Garfield Fluffs SO, thank you so much for becoming a new follower, and also Can't Sprint JRPG History, the first person to ever be a subscriber before they were a follower. Anyway, let's continue. So, I'm gonna skip you, because I can't skip this one though, because clearly it's guarding 2 treasure chests, so it's probably gonna be a tougher enemy, but we're pretty strong. Oh my gosh, what are these? Dragon zombie. Let's get an axle spin going. And lift. Ooh, I forgot I sparked. Oh, giant swing hits everybody. What? Speaking of my emoji, I keep wanting to call it emotes. Speaking of my emotes, I have some plans. Next time I have some free time, which may not be until this. No, definitely not going to be this weekend, but sometime in the near future, I need to go in and actually resize and resubmit my emotes because, gosh, even on a computer screen, they're tiny. I have the source files though, and I should be able to make them a more Twitch-friendly size. Because you see my big old dome in there, but you don't necessarily see what I'm doing except on the glow up. Okay, 1503, and that didn't take it out, so this is definitely a tough fight. Ooh, and Charl goes down again, because that's what Charl does. Charl's very fluffy. Oh my gosh, don't tell me one round of attacks and... That's tough. Giant Swingo. Down goes Julian, for sure. Yep, bye Julian. If this does not take it down... Yeah, I don't... You know, you were the first person who has ever pointed that out, but I was aware of that. To be fair, Garfield, to be fair, the avatar is older than the mustache. Just to be fair. I thought, because a lot of times when I stream, I'm just fresh out of the shower and I wear the hat. Oh, speaking of which, shout out to all the cat dads in the world. That wasn't very good, but gotta throw a shout out there to all the cat dads in the world. So usually I wear the hat so my hair dries correctly, but once my hair is dry, you know, we're always rocking the top knot with the undercut. And this is about the point where I realize we can't win this fight. And that's okay, because, well, can't win them all. So let's see what's this way. And this is also going to be a... Y'all, make sure you're checking on your cat dads because they need it in some capacity. This enemy should be fine. You know, I was just wondering, why do my eyes hurt so much? Well, probably because I'm not wearing my prescription blue light glasses. Huzzah! However, oh gosh, I did that thing again, the thing where I forgot what I was gonna say. I saw this in a video once, Rin. If you have to go to the bathroom really quick, or if you need some more, Wasser, then, you know, yeah, of course, after, like, when I'm laying in bed and it's like 4 a.m. and I'm staring at the ceiling, that's when I'll remember. That's the first sip of water I've had all day, I believe. Duh. Garfield, I do believe that Red Bull technically is the businesses, and I was told I was entitled to at least 2 per day. See, I'll probably remember like well before that, Rin, but what will actually happen though is you're almost there though. I'll be falling asleep, but what happens to me though is then I remember, oh my gosh, that conversation I had with that person 9 years ago, they were hitting on me. No, not really. I don't think about stuff like that, but I will think about past conversations. You're right. I don't work. Oh, what did Dante say in Clerks? He said, "I'm not even supposed to be here today." No, but I do remember. I will remember a conversation that I had, and I mean, y'all have been y'all have been very faithful watchers, so you know I have that stutter. Like, you know, I do that number and like I trip over my words. I forget who said it recently on Twitch, but they summarized it perfectly. I think way faster than I speak. So I will think about an argument or a heavily intellectual discussion I had many years ago, like eons ago, like in my teenage years, and I'll be like, that's what I should have said. You know, only 8 years too late. Keep in mind, this is a conversation I didn't even remember in general until that same sleepless night, but wow, this enemy has a lot of HP. It also does not do a lot of damage for having almost, well, not almost, did it? Oh, you're healing. I didn't realize you had a regen going on. All right. Monica's gonna need a Mind Solid after this. And we got it. What a wimp. Pwned. I mean, it's an AI. Ring offending, but I can't carry anymore. What? Make some space. Ring offending is a nice pickup. Okay, so it was nice to come raid the treasure here. But the mandatory encounters I have come across have kind of shown me that... So this is my first time playing this game, whereas when I streamed Romancing Saga 2, I had already played through that game once. So you kind of have to start doing fights in an area to get a feel for whether or not you can, I guess, handle it. I use the term handle it lightly because this game is much more focused on strategy than... These enemies look tough. Putrid Gigan. You know, Garfield, the reason I say that, the reason I have to emphasize that I don't work there, it's mostly a pride thing. I just don't want people to think that I left and then immediately came crawling back. It's more of a pride thing than anything else. I hope you understand and you still accept me unconditionally. Well, Rin, don't just say you have a story, let's hear it. The chat's your platform, let's hear it. Romancing Saga 3's battle theme never gets old. Wait a minute. I can understand that, and I do, I guess. Dingus. First of all, sir, an ellipses has 3 periods, not 2, so you're the dingus. And second of all, you do, you guess. Do or do not. There is no try. Years ago, my first tech support job, I was hired on as a contractor. First time I had ever been a contractor, so I had no idea how that worked. About 4 years later, I made perm associate / FTE. As I'm sitting there in the HR office doing paperwork, they had a heck of a time finding my stuff. So, here's my question. I don't know if that was... All right, here we go. Eventually, they left to track it down. When they came back, they were like, did you know your contract expired 3.5 years ago? Well, hopefully you were still getting paid. Because, you told me you live in the States. So if you were on as a contractor for that job, you were getting a 1099 tax form as opposed to a 1040, correct? Really? Because, I think that's federal. That shouldn't vary from state to state, but typically contractors, they receive the 1099 tax form as opposed to the 1040. And let me tell you something. Personally, I have never received one, but in the last couple of years, I've gotten quite the education on, well, taxes and accounting and finance. And let me tell you, the 1099 is the biggest joke of a tax form that there is. So imagine this. Imagine you work for somebody else. They hire you on as a contractor, right? But they're still telling you what you're getting paid. You're not telling them how much they're going to pay you, right? So you work for them as a contractor, and then come the mighty month of February, you get that 1099 form for doing your contractor work. And then do elaborate, because the 1099 is the absolute biggest sham in the world of, in the world of work, in my opinion. Imagine getting a tax form and then paying not only your end of payroll tax, but the employer's end of payroll tax because you're considered self-employed. Okay, I see. Almost like a, oh gosh. The word I want to say is temp agency, but there is a better word for that. Not temp agency, but, yeah, okay, temp agency, okay. There we go. No, Dimensional Slash didn't work on most of them, but let's hit that slime. And actually, Monica has magic. I don't know why I haven't been using that. 1099 is the biggest joke because you literally pay double on taxes. You're paying both the employer's end and the payee's end of payroll tax. And not only that, but when it comes to your itemized deductions, you have to pay tax on absolutely everything related to your work. If you're driving a vehicle and you're putting miles on it, you have to claim that on your taxes, and you have to pay the the man of the hour. I_am_Tomotokiss. I am so glad to see you because, well, quite frankly, there we go. Okay. Why wouldn't I? It's there. It's valid. You trying to say the underscore is invalid? I had a public service announcement to make in this stream today. I have a public service announcement I want to make about something I went through today. And I was actually waiting for Timodicus to get here because I wanted Timodicus to be a part of this. I'm not speaking to you guys for while I'm on this pause screen. I am not speaking to y'all as Can't Sprint JRPG, the Twitch channel. I want to speak to you as Sprint the person. Because I actually, I went through something today, and I just think it's really important that I share it, and that I care about every person in this chat, and I think it is important that all of you are aware of this, really. First things first. I want to say, I am not searching for any pity. Please do not throw me subs because of this, because that is not what I'm searching for. I just really need to get this off my chest, and I think it's really important that every single person in this chat hears this, because it's not talked about enough. And I'm not trying to be preachy, but I just want to share what I found out today, so that if you were ever posed in even a remotely similar situation, you kind of have an idea of what to do. Did I? Oh my god, I put my game as the wrong category on tonight's stream. I just realized that. Did I? Okay. So, let me ask you all. How many of you have grandparents who are still alive? Mostly because if you do, I want you to pay, especially pay attention. Don't worry, Lizzie Paper, I haven't quite said it yet. Okay. And Rin, I'm of course sorry to hear that. Okay. Well, what about you, Garfield? If you are still there, any grandparents? Okay. Well. Okay. Here's where it gets juicy. If you have grandparents, how many of them are in a form of assisted living? Anyone? Anyone? I'm such a goob. I definitely picked the wrong romancing SaGa game for my category tonight. Oh well. And okay. It may not be as common, but my grandma lives at least 4 hours from me. She is 92 years old. And she lives in what you would call an assisted living community, not a facility. she owns her own home. She still owns her home, and she still lives on her own. My grandpa passed about 16 years ago. But she still owns her own home, and the home that she owns is in an assisted living community. It's like it's like an assisted living facility, but it's staffed. That's like the biggest difference. She still has her own home, and if she never contacts them, they will never bother her. You know, no one's coming by to feed her, give her pills, anything like that, okay? My grandma isn't, and this is not normal, mind you. This is not a common experience for people, but my grandma is 92 years old. She still lives on her own, cooks all her own meals, feeds herself, drives. She still drives a car. There's not a lot of people in their 90s who are driving. She still drives her car, does her own grocery shopping. She goes to church like 4 or 5 days a week. I mean, she's a 92-year-old woman who is more active than most 20 or 30-year-olds. Well, today I got a text message from my brother. I have a brother, basically telling me that our grandmother rolled out of bed in her sleep and broke her hip. Okay, this was 2 or 3 days ago. She's where she lives. She's pretty much all alone. So if anything happens, we're not going to know about it right away, unfortunately. But at the same time, she's as sharp as a tack at 92 years old. I mean, she's not diminishing or dementiated or anything. Like, she is a sharp tack. She is one smart cookie. Like, completely independent at that age. Well, she rolled out of bed halfway in her sleep. And by the time she woke up, she was falling out of bed, broke her hip. Part of her living in this community, like I said, it's not a facility, it's a community. Part of her living in this community is that she has, it's like a rope string type thing on her bed or her headboard. And oh, you're good, Lizzie Baber. I won't hold it against you, I promise. But Grandma has like a rope or some type of pull device, and it's long. Like, if she fell out of bed, she can grab it and still pull it. It's an alarm. So, you know, if an older person is in bed and they start having a stroke, they can pull it and the alarm goes off, and somebody from the community is going to come. They have keys. They're going to open the door, check on her, and if she's not okay, they're going to call 911. Well, and Garfield, what I was going through earlier, what you saw me going through a little earlier, it's going to make a lot more sense when I tell you this. So, she fell out of bed and broke her hip, pulled the alarm, and from what I understand, as she's so sharp, she pulled the alarm as she was falling out. Like, she realized, oh nuts, I'm about to fall, and I'm 92 years old, so this is gonna suck. And she grabbed the alarm on the way down. I mean, she tripped it, right? The alarm is going off. She can hear it. Falls and breaks her hip in her bedroom. Alarm is going off. Keep in mind, the staff at this community, she pays money for this every month, okay? It's not free. It's not included with living there. This is a service that she pays for, okay? Because she's not naive. She's 92 years old. Clearly she's sharp, but if something happens, she's gonna need help, okay? 90 minutes. 90 GD MF minutes. Okay? She pulled the alarm. Hip's broken. Timo, it's more than unacceptable. I am PO'd about it. And I'm really not trying to get emotional, and I'm not trying to show my BUTTHOLE on stream. But 90 minutes. So this 92-year-old woman with a broken hip does the solid snake in the microwave hall crawl, where she is one arm after the other. She crawls. It's in the 90 minutes is how long it took her to crawl from her bedroom to her living room in her home. One level, thank God. Knocked over an end table, which had her landline on it, because 92-year-old people still have landlines. Knocked over her landline so that she could call emergency services herself. They picked her up, took her to the hospital. She had surgery. People that age, you know, anesthesia affects them a lot differently than a much younger, healthier person. Me personally, I'd be glad to. I do not have her medical power of attorney. I'm making a very emergency visit this weekend to go see her. It's like a good 4-hour drive, but my brother and I are gonna drive up. We're gonna mention it to her, but depending on how she's feeling, that's not as important as how she's doing to us. But I was just really upset because I don't get to see her very much, and that's more my fault than anything else, because I'm the more able-bodied one who can easily take a weekend, drive up north, come back home. That's on me. There's a lot of regret. You have grandparents. I'm gonna talk to her first. If she asks me not to, because these are people in the medical field, and she was in the medical field for 40 or 50 years. If she asks me not to, I won't. It was probably more like 40 years. If she asks me not to, I will not. But it's not like this happened at 3 a.m. Life Alert is great. I used to live in a neighborhood, and Life Alert used to accidentally get called 2 or 3 times a week. Thank you, bro. And like I said, I don't want anything in return. I really felt like that needed to be shared because, PO'd. Life Alert works. Like I said, I had a neighbor growing up who accidentally clicked the button a few times. Fire trucks, police cars, everything. Great response time. Clearly, I don't think I don't believe my grandmother has that, because that rope, that alarm built into her home for the community to respond to, I figured she probably thought that was enough. Well, clearly we've learned it was not. So before I start making legal threats, I'd like to talk to her myself and see how she feels about it, because she is just a golden human being. I know she's gonna make some kind of excuse for them. It is just so unacceptable. I am upset. Upset is like the nicest thing I can say right now. I am ticked. And I am using every fiber of my being to control my language on Twitch right now. I am not happy. So, but if she says that's not what she wants, I'm not going to pursue it. But the public service announcement I named this stream after is 1. If you have an elder in assisted living, you need to still keep an eye on them, because and this does not go to everybody, because I know there are plenty of people who work in that field who are 100% dedicated to their job. However, there are also people in that field who have a terrible attitude and treat it like it's retail or a restaurant, and they don't care when they hear that alarm. This happened in the afternoon, by the way. This was between like 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Peak hours. This wasn't like at 5 a.m. or something, or 4 a.m., where resources would be scarce, which is especially why I'm upset. Sorry. But also, on top of that, if it were anybody else, they'd be DEAD. I mean it. Most people in their 90s can't crawl that far, or crawl at all. If you have elders who are in assisted living, please, if not for yourself, do it for me. Keep an eye on them. Keep in touch with them, even if they have dementia, even if they are fading, even if you can't keep an intelligent conversation with them. Talk to them about the same thing over and over again, because it's important. And also, don't be like me, because over the last couple years, I've been way too focused on myself and my life, and I have definitely not called her or talked. We talk maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and the level of regret that I'm experiencing right now has spoken volumes to me and showed me that that is not enough. So, if you have a good relationship with them, just call them more, please. If you don't, you'll regret it, like I do right now. Thankfully, she's alive. She's around still. We're going up this weekend. My brother and I were gonna visit her. But seriously, like, if you don't regret it now, you will. Don't be like me. So I'm gonna change my ways. I'm gonna, especially with the way I feel right now. That's one of the things that gets pushed. Yes, 100%. Like I said, this is not for pity. I don't want anything. I just really don't want anyone to repeat my mistakes, really. So if you got grandma, if you got grandpa still, call them tomorrow. Tell them you love them. If they're the type, you can say that too, because I know some of them grew up in that generation where the LOVE word is like forbidden, but thank you. You guys rock. Thank you for listening to me. We're gonna keep playing the game now, but that was eating me alive. Thank you, bro. Deeply, deeply appreciate it. Like I said, the most important thing to me was that y'all heard that, because yeah, please do, because you know, even if you feel apathetic now, when something happens, I promise you won't. Do it for me. You will feel so much better when you do. Like, luckily, like I said, she's still around. This is my point in my life where I'm gonna make amends, because I've been an awful grandson. I have not kept in touch as frequently as I should. The moral of the story, y'all, is I suck. Rin, I appreciate you. I appreciate you trying to make me feel. I appreciate you trying to make me feel better, but there's still no excuse for that, because I could have easily just pulled up your Twitch, said hi, and said I got a lurk, I got some stuff going on, and left my phone on. That's still on me. But I just got too caught up when I get one of my problems as a person is, okay, I see. Because one of my problems as a person is when I have a life event like that, it's way too easy for me to fly off the handle. And what I mean by that is, what is this? Let's check it out. Oh, let's heal before we check it out. I'm way too quick to fly off the handle. Like, I'll, Oh, we have Shucho magic already. And are you a readable character? Because your sprite looks different. But I'm way too quick to fly off the handle, so that immediately became like my hyper fixation of the moment. Well, thank you, Tomoticus. You know, my biggest regret is just I didn't open my... Oh, cool, we can rest here. I know better. You know, I know better than this. And this isn't supposed to be a chat. This isn't supposed to be a monologue of self-deprecation at all. I feel so bad because with the life experiences I've had, I know better. And currently, I've had way too long of a good streak of nothing terrible happening. So as far as the channel goes, I won't be streaming tomorrow. Wednesday's kind of my scheduled day off. Generally, it's gonna be Tuesday or Wednesdays. Luna and I still haven't quite figured out what day works better for date night. Thursday, Friday. Well, Friday's tentative because I'm gonna be waking up 5 or 6 a.m. so we can get up north. And I also gotta pick my brother up, but well, thank you, Rin, because you are a real one for sure. And you know, if this came off as self-deprecating, don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm amazing. I'm forgetting that part. Yeah, but I think it's really important as people that we all stay humble, realize that we can make mistakes, ones that carry a lifetime of regret. Luckily, knock on wood, at 92 years old, I think that woman still got like 10 years of life in here. Life left in her words. But from this point, I'm definitely going to make the rest of it count because, you know, I've gone through some stuff in my life the last couple of years, but I've been way too self-focused. I think it's, you know, I'm at a very good point in my personal life, and I have a lot of people to thank for it. I need to pay it forward more. Okay, what? This is such a weird screen. Look, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This place is changing. Every time I leave the screen, it's changing. Oh no, we're in that same forest from Oracle of Ages. Is it Oracle of Ages where the fairies keep changing the forest while you find them? Whew. Thank you, Griff. Thank you so much. That's what was eating me today. Luckily, it wasn't the kind of emergency where I'd have to dip immediately. But what was most important to me about that preachy little message just now was that just don't make the same mistake I've made, because I'm glad this was not the end for her, because I would have a lifetime with regret, but I think I still have time to get things the way that they need to be. So yeah, and that was it. You know, I won't drag it on. You know, we can go back to the best Japanese role-playing game of 1995. But just bear that in mind, y'all. /Lightspeed, and we're just gonna do regular kick, because let's not waste all of our SP for the enemies that don't necessarily need it. And Nora's down. Nothing unusual there. The amount of money you get for winning random encounters in this game is an absolute joke. I know, 1995, right? That's such a strange year. Did anything monumental happen in 1995? Oh gosh, hopefully there's not an absolutely ridiculous Earth event that I'm forgetting. Spoiler alert, viewers, that is not the year I was born. No, I was not born in 95, sir. Were they talking about Y2K in 95? I'm not... Well, anyone who was born in the 90s probably isn't old enough to know if they were talking about Y2K. Because quite frankly, I didn't know about Y2K until I was a bit older, and there was referential humor to the end of the world in the year 2000. Giant Swing is sick! Oh my gosh. 1000 damage, target all 4 SP? Sign me up. I was right to get as hype as I was over Giant freaking Swing. So, for any of y'all who don't already know, thank you for bringing that up. I am Tomoticus. You don't get the underscores pronounced this time because your chatbot doesn't like me. I'm a huge true crime person. Luna and I watch true crime all the time. And this is a pretty basic opinion here, but the OJ trial easily is one of my favorite, probably one of my favorite trials to watch coverage of, watch documentaries of, opinion videos. Probably one of the most polarizing cases in our nation's history. I think everyone in chat right now is in the States. Probably one of the most polarizing cases in our country's history. Of course, The People versus O.J. Simpson. Of course, I've watched it twice. I love The People versus O.J. Simpson. And you know what? The studio that brought you American Crime Story, also the same studio that brought you American Horror Story, kudos to them for making a very, it's not perfect, but it's probably the most historically accurate representation of the O.J. Simpson trial. They sacrificed glamour, publicity, and theatrics for historical accuracy. Like I said, it's not 100% accurate, but it's the closest thing that you're gonna watch a dramatic reenactment of. I think that miniseries has been, I think that season has been out for 6-7 years now. But if you are ever interested in the O.J. Simpson trial and you don't want to, it was a wild ride. And the casting was phenomenal. Cuba Gooding Jr. as O.J. Simpson? Come on! Like... it's just... Oh, are you talking about the Goblin? You know, I think Dobby, if I could speak, I think Dobby is, I thought giving him the sock made him a free elf. Alright, Garfield, have a good night. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow, so sleep well. Was Toy Story 95 or 94? Was it really? I'll be honest with you, Rin. My elementary school, the Harry Potter books were banned, so I never got into Harry Potter until my fiance made me watch those movies much, much later in life. I remember the Dobby Elf scene, but I didn't realize that he chose to serve Harry afterwards. Toy Story. I think that was 94, wasn't it? No, that was 95. Speaking of books and movie adaptations, I think it's important that you all know, because of our conversation about the number 42, I actually do have a PDF copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on my phone now for reading, because you piqued my interest enough to want to read that book, so consider that another contribution to this channel. I love reading, and I'm always looking for a good book, and it needs to be good, because I'm not going to waste my time reading a book that sucks. And you shouldn't either, because books take a lot longer to read. 2 back attacks, that's insane. Oh my god, oh, there we go, we didn't get back attacked that time. Alright, don't spoil anything for me, because, well, I have a PDF copy on my phone now, so in my free time, that's what I'm going to be gazing at. So thank you for recommending that book without necessarily recommending it, because as soon as you said 42 is the answer to the meaning of life, and it's not necessarily the answer to the meaning of life, but more so what is the question, you got me thinking on that philosophical level, and now I'm definitely going to read that book. Alright, well, How to Fly, you've definitely got me even more interested than I was initially, so thank you guys for that, that's awesome. So, when you say colorful with his descriptions, are we talking lewd or graphic, or do we mean, like, articulate? Snake shot the front row, and I'll throw a Thunder Kick in the mix. That's right, because you said it's a trilogy in 6 books, right? Describes things in ways that most people would not. Okay. I mean, all you guys are doing is piquing my interest even further. Y'all sold me already. I'm gonna read the book. So we'll just see what all this entails. See what all this entails. Ah! Oh, we got formation this time, so we're good. Actually, as a matter of fact, we have a target all move on everyone now except the minstrel, so that'll make for some better grinding. But yeah, so it's awesome. Got myself a nice new book to read. It's not new. It's I know that book's relatively old, but it's new to me. Rin. Don't even get me started on Tolkien, because like I was saying with how growing up, I didn't have access to the Harry Potter books, really. In its place, I owned most of the works of J.R.R. Tolkien because my sister, I have two siblings, I have a brother and a sister. My sister managed a bookstore, so I had access to a lot of books. But I didn't have much interest in Harry Potter because I didn't see them at school, but Lord of the Rings was pretty hot. And speaking of which, if I see one more ad for the Rings of Power, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch the Rings of Power. I'm not looking forward to it. Most of the reboots of fiction I grew up with have turned out to leave me empty and disappointed. I'm not watching the Rings of Power. So, Amazon, please stop advertising it to me. Every time I get a package, I don't need your little tape that says Rings of Power on it. I went to read The Hobbit. I got most of the way through the descriptions of the Hobbit house at the start of chapter 1 and then got bored because who the heck cares about a chair to read to? I was about to say to a chair. You know what? So what I did when I was younger, because when I read The Hobbit, the first time, I've read The Hobbit a couple times. I read The Hobbit for the first time when I was 10 years old, I believe. I had, shout out to I Am Timodicus here when I say this, because I had an excellent 3rd or 4th grade teacher. I forget, I think it was 4th grade. She said, if you want to read a book that is above your reading level, if there are parts you don't understand, and of course she was talking to like 9 and 10-year-olds, so of course she didn't necessarily word it like this, but she in layman's terms, she basically said if there is a part that bores you or you can't quite grasp what they're getting at, skip the page. And I did that a bit for The Hobbit. So the second time I read The Hobbit, I did get the chair description that you're talking about, and I know exactly what you mean, because in the book, the beginning of the book, when they are in the Shire, that part feels so long. Like the beginning of the Hobbit book feels like an eternity, but it was a great read, especially once you get to the goblins who turn to stone. I have a perfectly logical retort to that. Never in my life did I ever think I would be watching. Whoa. Whoa. Did you guys see that? Y'all saw that, right? I entered the city and we entered the battle screen and we got run over by a car. What? Little kid, what just happened? Lady, come on, what? No, really, that actually kind of that kind of spooked me a little bit. What? It just happened again. Yeah, it appears every time I try to enter Zweig, it keeps happening. Nicolas Cage, is that you? Ghost Rider? It goes by so fast. I can barely see it, but it's like a flaming skull car. And the game's gonna actually, I think if I keep doing that, the game's gonna keep showing it to me. Okay. That was weird. So Yeah, or like it looked like some kind of medieval go-kart. To Modicus, if you've ever driven your vehicle in New York or New Jersey, you don't know how then you know how accurate what you just said was. What? We can't talk to the pink-haired girl because she's gonna force herself into our party. We can get rid of her, but it's kind of a pain. I'm a little spooked. I was not expecting that. But yeah, it was like Rin, it was like some kind of train car or like something. No, so we don't need a room. I want to know if the barkeep has anything to say about it. That's the thing about these SaGa games, y'all. You're getting really complacent and it just kind of throws something out of left field. What was that? Got any information? So I've never personally had any issue with understanding books and stuff because my mom was going through nursing school when I was born, and as a baby, my bedtime stories were her nursing books. Which makes perfect sense, because honestly, when we're that small, we're not really paying attention to what they're saying. We just want to hear someone's voice until we fall asleep. Oh. By the way, shout out to your mom for that, because that is such a thankless job. I could never work in healthcare. So for the people who can, y'all are the real ones. like it's such a up the ante. That's actually very ironic because that's very ironic because my mother, when she was still around, when she was pregnant with me, actually, she worked as a mental health nurse on a locked floor doing overnights. As well, that's actually a nice coincidence there. What a small world, actually. Does any... Especially because I'd be willing to bet when your mother and mine were doing that, there were a lot less nurses who were willing, I should say, to be in that position. You know, mental health has a much greater awareness now than it ever has before. You know. I think it was a similar arrangement. I think it was, keep in mind, I was not alive yet, but from the stories I hear, it was one nurse and one guard. The guard had to get utilized a few times. However, my brother worked there during the day. When he was a teenager, he worked there. I think he had more like an internship type job, not like books, not like bookkeeping and appointment keeping, but more so like, oh hey, clean this. Oh hey, pick that up. Oh hey, wipe that person. You know, back then, what an internship was you did all the jobs that the people who actually got paid didn't want to do. I gotta see this again. Really? Wait a minute. So let me get this straight, Romancing Saga 3. Oh, she had Olga. Olga's great. You can count on Olga. That that 50-pound box with CPAP accessories in it, if you can't lift it, just call Olga. Olga will give you a hand. One more time for the people in the back. What is... Okay, not only are we fine, but, not only are we fine, but it appears nobody in this town has anything to say about what just happened. I walked into the town and got ran over by Ghost Rider. No one has anything to say about it. Who knows? Oh, no. This girl, if she ever talks to you, she forces herself into your party. You can get rid of her really easily by going to the world map, going down here, going to a place called Ryblov, and as soon as you get to Ryblov, she leaves. And it is actually never explained. Actually never explained why she leaves either. Clearly, like, the intended storyline is she's like running away from her family or something, but from all of the informationals I've read in Romancing Saga 3, most of the recruitable characters in this game have some level of storyline, and hers is completely unfinished, which is actually pretty traditional of a 1990 Square Enix game. You know what? You were paying attention to the dialogue from the NPCs. So Rin, you get some bonus points for that one. But it just happened again. So if we go back to Zweig, does it... Oh my god, Rin, you're a genius. Okay, so it's not Curdland, and we've been to Podoroy, so we know it's not Podoroy. So I can tell you for a fact the inventor. So we've already met the inventor once playing this game. I know it's not the inventor. The inventor, she's supposed to be like the hot professor trope, you know, like hot for teacher. She's not here. Don't tell me she turns into the Ghost Rider. Oh, but you know what? We could never enter this room when she was home, so let's go through her stuff. Where is she? She's right there, but before I talk to her, what does she have going on in here? Is that a brain? Brains. This room might not have anything I can interact with, but what's the dealio here? And we can't go in there, so let's talk to her. Ask her, maybe she knows what the deal is with the Ghost Rider. Rin, you were right. What? By the way, since she used the adjective romancing, actually, I think romancing is a verb, but I probably, yeah, you rock. That was a, I should have known it was, duh. Yeah, good work. I guess we are getting the Ghost Rider origin story here, Timoticus. So, you know, little fun fact here. Despite the name of this particular series of Saga games being called Romancing Saga, the word romancing has nothing to do with romance like a love story. Romance refers to the time period, like the Romantics. I just undid my calico pin on my desk and it won't go back now. Yeah, except in our world, if you romance people by running them over, you get a lethal injection. That's not good. Because it has a screw loose, it becomes the Hyper Gold Luxury Fully Automatic Final Virtual Romancing Exciting Dragon Machine X. It has been rampaging through the town and in the woods. Good God almighty, can't sprint JRPG, learn how to read. You ran into it, right? Yeah, I actually ran into it like 8 or 10 times now. Yeah, that was my fault. Yeah, it ran into me. I definitely did not run into it. Let's cheer her up. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're a genius. You'll think of something. Oh, can we get a car? Wait, why do I have to destroy it? Wait a minute, do I get a car? Do I get an auto? Teehee. No way. Best art. The fight is on the cars. Guys, the fight is on the cars. This is sick. This is so sick. What? Best Japanese role-playing game. SaGa. This is so sick. Listen to this music. Poisonous Mist, that's not gonna matter. We're epic. And you missed. Oh, well, in the real world, he's lumberjacking. You know, he's like running as fast as possibly can. That's what's going on. And let's actually get a folk song. I don't think the minstrel used Thunder Kick, and I think the minstrel might be out of range. So I'm gonna balm here, and I'm gonna balm on Monica just to make sure we don't lose her, because she's gonna be our primary damage dealer. Oh no, come on. Oh, yeah, so let's just Mega Hawk. And then it appears this enemy has 3 points in which we can target. And it looks like we only have 3 of our party members. Thankfully, we got 3 of the better ones, and we need to balm Julian, because he's going to be one of our primary damage dealers. There we go. That looks good. This is so sick. I really can't get over this. Mega Hawk. Southern Cross. I don't know if there's necessarily a correct part of this vehicle to, and we need to bomb Julian again. I don't know if there's a correct part to target, but Monica gets stunned again. Monica seems to be the only target for the needles, but she's not taking a lot of damage. Ooh. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. It looks like rear motor, kind of like a Toyota MR2 mid-engine. Actually, that's a mid-engine, but like a Ford Pinto, actually. You know, get rear-ended, it's lights out. And yep, Southern Cross, and let's get that bomb going on the Minstrel because it does not show me the doesn't show me the HP of my car. Scalding gas, rest in peace, Minstrel. Oh! Did y'all see that? I guess the tire finally caught up with him. Yeah, forget your card games on motorcycles. We're playing a role-playing game in a dune buggy. Okay, we took out the back part. I'm weak. We got this epic car battle going on. I've never seen a car battle in a role-playing game. I think another part of it just went down. Maybe? And Monica got first turn, nice. Ooh, Monica's low on HP, but that self-destruct move seems to do a lot of good for him. Uh-oh, we're running kind of low here. Monica, let's get a heat wave go. Oh, yeah, heat wave. I might lose this fight the first time around, but it's all right because, well, is it actually all right? Because oh, there's one part of it left, so we're in good shape, actually. Monica could use that water of life, and then let's get a tackle going. Ooh. Alright. This is so sick, like... Oh! We got it! Hey! And we learned Southern Cross permanently. Ah, I see. I don't believe the PlayStation 5 likes to tell the user. I don't believe the PlayStation 5 tells the user when the battery of the controller is low. I think it, unless y'all have seen it, I've just missed it this whole time. Doot, 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 doot. There we go. That was so sick. Yeah, and it looks like it just stuck the 3 topmost members of our party in that fight, but that's such a SaGa thing right there, because you can't change your party members' order. Like, whoever you recruit first is who's there. Oh, and our reward for destroying her demon car was a kiss. That's great, but we're trying to save the world. Can you throw me some Aurum or something? Like some Aurum pieces? Cause, you know, the kiss is cool, but like, that doesn't close these abyss gates that have opened. Sorry if I seem like I'm getting way too hype. I really was not expecting that. That's why SaGa is so great. You don't really get stuff like that in a Final Fantasy game. SaGa is very off the wall. Like, the closest thing you get in Final Fantasy is the train fight in 6, where you're running away from the train the whole time. But actually, y'all, to tell you the truth, I mostly streamed Event tonight. Didn't have a real game plan. I'm glad we got that really epic fight in, so I have well, Rin, I'm stealing Doom Buggy. That's gonna be the name of this VOD. So I got a cool thumbnail, got a cool fight on stream, got to vent, that kind of thing. I think I'm actually done for the night because I do have to wake up early tomorrow. However, who are we raiding, y'all? It was about as productive as I can be tonight, because like I said, I almost just didn't stream, but my lovely and wonderful fiance kind of bullied me into it. So shout outs to her for that. She's long since asleep. Delightful is on. I actually just started following Delightful, so you know what? We got Mushu last night. Delightful, let's go. Why don't we go ahead and raid Delightful? Full disclosure, by the way, my little PSA I had there. Cool. All right, so we got the homies covered. Full disclosure, my little PSA. Next time I stream, we don't speak about it. You got me in a moment of weakness tonight, and I trust y'all, and that's why I just felt like I need to get that off my chest and make sure y'all got my life lesson. But next time, we're back to a much more normal Can't Sprint JRPG. But let me go ahead and get my raid command ready. I guess it'd help if I clicked my mouse because it fell asleep. /raid D3 LIGHTFOOL. Alright, y'all. Well, thank y'all for coming out. And of course, and for listening to me itch. That's not the word I mean to say, but I don't want to say the bad version. Itch and moan about my struggles today. It's really nice to have someone to listen to. Thank you, Rin. And thank you to Modicus, both of you, for coming in. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the real ones. And you know what I like to say, if you like Romancing Saga 3 or if you like Can't Sprint JRPG, please be sure to drop a follow, maybe even consider subscribing. I do this all the time. And, oh, perfect timing, stream elements. Anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. Let's go ahead and raid Delightful. By the way, this channel is intended for mature audiences only. If you're immature, please click out. Alright, but let's go with the raid, y'all. As far as my stream goes, though, everyone, have a good night.